Alright, ladies and gentlemen, people of all ages and backgrounds, welcome to tonight's main event. Tonight, we have Stevenson University versus Champlain College, the Mustangs versus the Beavers, in the NECC Navigators Finals. Tonight, it's going to be a best of 7 here, and we will be starting ourselves off on the King of the Hill style map, Lijiang Tower, aka Control. Goal of this map style is to get 2 out of the 3 maps in your favor. When you do that, you'll take the first map. Without further ado, we're going to get right on into it here with the Beavers on the left, blue team, and the Mustangs on the right. Beavers here are going to be making their way to point first as we rotate on down to see the first engagement here. Take a look from this angle. It's going to be from the front line here with not Y2K. In fact, a little recent development, mind you all, but we'll tell you that in a bit as light snow has fallen here. It's going to be unexpected for the Beavers to have to try to deal with it, but Stevenson goes in deep for the push. What's this? Coming around from the side of the Mustangs here, they were able to get 1, 2, 3 eliminations. Last one in line is going to be the Lucio here, caught by the ankles, as they're able to turn the point without even giving up any percentage over to the other team. It's going to be Champlain College here, going to have to regroup, and they're giving up on the Symmetra to go over to Genji. Seems that the strategy here is now going to try to play the counter Bastion. Let's take a look here from Hose Drinker, who's going to be playing on the front line. Seems that now Y2K is going to be taking a punch, but is saved by the boot from the Mustangs here. Genji now playing in the back line here, has to be very careful of Legend, who's all about that flank. Going to be a lot of frontline action going around here, and we're seeing the wall come out. A huge opportunity for Champlain. They're able to get 1, 2. They're looking for the 3. Genji's on a rampage here with Funkness. Able to get that double kill. It's followed up by Lucky Soap and Fluff. That turns the point over to the Beavers here, and now they're going to be trying to hold close in the choke to make sure Stevenson cannot get the distance they need. That initial shot going to deal quite a bit of damage to Bunkness, but they're not worried about it. Let's take a look here at CJ, the Bastion for Stevenson. Shatter comes on out, but it could be a return of the favor. It is so! It's going to be CJ the fallen person. Now it's a hunt for the backline here. Reinhardt has fallen. Hose Drinker does take a knee as the trades come on out here. Stevenson does get down the tank in time, but they also have to forcibly regroup here as being down so many. The rest of the Champlain College was able to recover enough to make their push. Now taking a look here, we will be seeing them come on back, but let's make a note here of these support ults. Both sides have them ready to rock and roll. It's just a matter of utility here. Coming around on the flank is going to be the freeze. Beat Drop has been activated to save everyone through it and disrupt their play. Reinhardt is caught out in the open. What's this? A dragon coming around from the side here. Able to find 2, shutting down the Dragon Blade despite its hits they got. We're looking at 60% in counting here as they're looking to try to make a regroup here. A good number of Champlain here is down, and they're going to have to try to play it safe, especially in this choke. Now being able to come on back, they're forced strong, but look out for the artillery barrage here. Does not find enough marks, does a little bit of damage, but the pin still hits. Lots of activity going on around here as the beat drop is activated by Fluff here with Hose Drinker falling. So now Stevenson has to make their way towards the point here with window being activated. A lot of activity going around now as they're trying to rotate their way over the point. They're not able to save the support in time. It's just right on point, trying their best to stay alive, to turn it to the overtime. And they do get it to overtime. However, there's no one else left to make the touch. Stevenson's going to have to try again for the next round. As for Champlain, they are coming out strong to start here tonight. Being able to really hold that choke against the Mustangs, making sure they don't have the room to work with going in for this push. But want to make note here of from earlier developments mentioned, now that we head on over to the gardens here, we did have a rank up just tonight in, I believe, 15 minutes ago or so. Coming out from not Y2K, so great congratulations there to be had. I believe that this team has a lot going for them in future endeavors after this season. So really looking forward to see their growth here. I'm not sure what the Beavers have going themselves, but with finals coming around the corner, many of the players are eager to try to win this finals here and go into winter break happy. Looking at that rollout there, we saw Runic come right through the window. If anyone decided to teleport, that would have been devastating. Right now, it seems that Stevenson has full control of this front line, but as I say that, they do seem to be getting an ambush behind them. Legend's going to be the first to fall here. However, it's going to be trades from either side coming on out here. Taking a look here over to Runic, who's actually suffering some heavy damage. Bumpness coming through with the triple. Is able to secure that point for the Beavers. So now going to be starting their successive hold here. Is going to have to be Stevenson to try to counter this play. We'll be seeing them go wide and far right here, going towards the white room to try to see if they can stack up and take distance from the Beavers here. Champlain College has to try to get up close and utilize their May wall before Stevenson has an ability to separate their tank. But their tank, Hostdrinker, is going in very deep. Hostdrinker has made a critical mistake and gets pinned and punished for it. That's going to give Stevenson the push they need here and begin trying to take control of this point here. Fluff trying to escape, try to stay alive, and does get out. Could be going for another push back in to go for the stall, but it's not going to be doing that. Instead, playing it passively to make sure they stay alive and regroup the team so they do not get staggered. Some exciting endeavors here. We're going to be taking a look at Bunkness, who did come out clutch in their previous fight. But if they're not careful, they will be caught out on the flank here. What's this? I hear a bit of a pin coming around to the side, and Shatter comes on out. Reaper's in, a world of hurt, and the damage is dealt there. As the beat drop has been activated, there's only 2 left alive. Will this actually be a worthwhile beat? Hard to say here, but we do see they were stalling the point. Now turning it back over to the Beavers here. Stevenson has to regroup. CJ has fallen, so now they have to wait for CJ to respawn. Hopefully they can get him moving fast with Runic. Real question is, how are you going to use your ult economy here? Looking at the Beavers, they have everything in the book except for Shatter. As for Stevenson, they're down 2 ult, but if they utilize and separate the opponents properly here, they have a chance to really turn it around in their favor and prepare for the next upcoming fight. Let's take a look here from the side of CJ. Window's been activated here. Gonna be looking for the block. They get that block on out, and now Reinhardt going on in here very aggressively, but if they're not careful, especially with the freeze, Shatter coming on out. It's gonna be freeze from either side here. Taking a look here, it's gonna whoever gets the picks first. Bumpness finding 1, 2, and looking for the third. They find the 3. That's put them at 85% with just 15 seconds left on the board. Stevenson has to make a do-or-die attempt here for the touch. It's going to be hard, especially with the May surrounding their push. They only have 5 seconds left. They make a successive block here. Can Reaper teleport in time? Runic needs to get it. They make it in time. In fact, they're turning the fight in their favor. Now Y2K has been able to make a double kill here and has taken the point. Stevenson was able to turn it around. But in the back line here, we do see that Bunkness is on the flank yet again. Going to be catching some attention here. That's why say Fluff has fallen off in their attempt to escape. That is terrible news for the side of the Beavers, as they are now not able to have that time. But with that being said, they need to actually use this time that they have to build up their ults, because they have nothing to work with compared to CJ with the Death Blossom and the beat drop coming around the side. Looking at Hostdrinker here, trying to get some space made over the bridge, but made a critical mistake! Being pushed off the ledge and then followed up on the Bunkness. It's going to be the Beavers that have to regroup and strategize their next push again. The bridge is not safe to go over. They need to realize that and rotate around. So going into this fight here, we're going to be seeing just that. Going to be leading the charge here with Hose, but Reinhardt from the side of Stevenson is ready to meet him in the choke. Just have to count on CJ here for this wall off. The wall off was there, the shatter takes place. Now it's going to be who can get the pick they are looking for here. Just a matter of time before we see someone fall. That's going to be Immortality down. And Window from either side looking very dangerous, but the Blizzard comes out for the Mustangs here. It's followed up by the beat drop, and they're looking to just get some eliminations from there on. CJ able to get a double, and Reaper looking for the follow-up there on to Lucky. So Beat drop gets activated here by Fluff, who's trying their best to stay alive here, but Runic Chaos is quick to the hunt. Looking for that high ground. What's this? Bug this with the blade! Comes in from the window out of nowhere, but the Death Blossom's gonna send them off. Now coming around towards the flank here, being pushed back by NY2K. What's this, ladies and gentlemen? I don't believe what I'm seeing. It seems that the Beavers are making a comeback here. Stevenson is now down so many of its members. They don't have the ability to stay alive here. Shatter comes on out, and after all of that, it's going to turn back over to the Beavers as they take map number 1. Champlain College comes out on top despite what I would describe as a non-winnable situation. Thanks to none other than Bunkness with their play style here, able to get in the backline and find the needed picks here in order to come out on top, really winning them the fight in the end. Alrighty then. We're going to do just a slight little intermission here as we're going to be heading on over to the next map. Need to just check my board here real quick. From the looks of it, we are going to be heading over to Hybrid next. Now, it's going to be Stevenson's map pick, but it is up to Champlain to use their ban on the map. So whatever they choose the ban, Stevenson cannot use. So it's very important to try to strategize here for this next fight. And just making note here, after having taken care of control, we'll be going to hybrid. Following that, it will be Flashpoint, same as the regular season. Afterwards, push with escort, following it up. To note, this is different from the regular season. We are now in a best of 7 series, so the first of 4 will win the finals. 6 here, going to be going back to King of the Hill, control, then another hybrid and Flashpoint. We do have the maps pool set up to 8 rounds potentially, just for the chances of ties, because ties can still take place where neither side scores a point. Now, it was very chaotic what you saw in that last fight, I understand, because with so much going on, it's hard to tell where are people at, truly, honestly, as well. So people like Genji, who have the situational awareness, can read where people are as they stand. We seem to be having a sub here coming on out. Stunty is going to be subbing out for CJ, if I'm correct? No. So it's going to be not Y2K get subbed out for CJ, and Stunty is coming in for the DPS position, while CJ is moving over to tank for Stevenson. CJ, if you recall, was previously the DPS for Stevenson, so now playing as tank. We'll have to see what the change in playstyle will take place here. Not going to be seeing any swaps here from Champlain College, but we'll have to see who's going to be coming out on top in this next round here. It seems that the ban is probably going to be Hollywood. Hollywood has been banned by Champlain College. So now with Stevenson's map pick here, they have a lot to consider. They could go for Midtown, as they had in the past during October when they played. Or they could go for plays such as King's Row, where the Brawl was strong with their strategy. They are going to be taking their time to think, because this is very important. You have to think, with this type of team, is Champlain College a very Brawl style team? Are they very dive-like? Are they poke-like? There's several things to consider. And hold the phone, wait a minute! I can't believe what I am seeing here. Stevenson has selected Nambani. This is a first here tonight. They have never, ever selected Nambani before this. So I'm real curious. What is the strategy going into this for Stevenson? This is typically, for a hybrid map, it's very dive heavy for the first point. It also is very poke. as well. Brawl is not going to work very well, and maybe that's exactly what they're banking on against Champlain College. It's going to be an interesting fight here, to say the least. Positioning is going to be key, as well as communication and callouts. Rotation also plays an extremely important part in this game here. So we'll have to see how either side executes their push and defense in order to either be successful or fall to ruin. Without further ado, I believe we're going to be readying on up here for either side. So, we're just getting into the fun of it here. Without further ado, let's get right on into it here. I would say be on the lookout for certain players, especially some of these supports. I know I don't highlight them enough, but they are doing grand work trying to keep their team up and also keep the comms going in order to call out what other players would not see in their blind spots. Now, without further ado, just waiting for the host here to get things started on up. I believe we had ready from either side. Seems that just waiting on someone to get it underway. Oh, this is a little anticlimactic, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Oh, in any case, send you. All right, seems now they're going to get on in. I hope. Oh, actually, no. I believe there has been a sub out here. Fluff has been subbed out for Tawny is tired on the side of Champlain College. Oh. Well, that was a very last-minute sub-in. Interesting. Since they're subbing out Fluff, who was the Lucio for the King of the Hill style map, I'm curious if we're going to be seeing not much mobility play, as we saw with Lucio. Potentially maybe more of a, more poke-like. Ana, Mercy, Zen even, surprisingly, if you get to see a Zen. As Zen is very hard to play on these poke and dive-like maps, where they're a very vulnerable target if left alone. So, just having to wait here. Seems we're not going in quite yet. Lots of bait and switches here. I see how it is. Alright. Yeah, we're just going to have to wait on them. To further elaborate, what's also unique about Nimbani is that despite the first point being dive, once you capture point number 1, it then turns into pure escort, which can go a little haywire for either side, because dive can still be useful, but then it kind of becomes a brawl poke heavy. Second point is going to be mostly dive, poke, brawl. You can use all of them. Third point is where dive's not too successful for either side. You'll mostly see poke and brawl come out really strong, and DPS thrive in this environment. So we'll be keeping an eye on them. Now that we're finally in, let me turn it on over. Welcome everyone to Nimbani, a fictional place in Africa where everyone can come together. Home of one of the heroes themselves, Orisa, as we're not going to be seeing Orisa played here, but we will be seeing Sigma. So this will be an poke style comp as mentioned before here. Once again, it's going to be Champlain College on the defense, while Stevenson University will start with their attack. Personally, I find I'd love to defend here first on these maps, as you get to set the precedence of what to meet, and even better if you can get to a draw. Attack can be very hard if you get stumped, as it hits your morale very quickly. So I believe that's going to be the goal here, playing on the defensive to make sure they can dwindle Stevenson's morale from making a push here. Let's take a look at the Ashe here. Excuse me, I hit the B button. Spectating settings, am I right? We'll be seeing a bit different selections here, especially with the Mercy from Stevenson. An interesting choice all around here. Let's take a look at the frontline battle. What's this on the flank here? We'll be seeing Legend actually working with the Echo and Hanzo here, trading pockets back and forth around this side. They're looking just to apply pressure as they make their push on in. But coming around, we do see that Hose Drinker, excuse me, has been able to find the first pick for the Mustangs, but not until after Legend has found their own victim here. Coming around the side, we do see Legend does get taken down after getting pushed upon very quickly, and Bunkness is able to find that follow-up there with the headshot, despite the Mercy Pocket, no less. Very, very effective. Taking a look from either side here, they're going to be looking to regroup, and it's actually the Ana who has to make it all the way back to the high ground in order to get back into position. This is a lot of time spent getting back from spawn, especially without any sort of teleport, speed boost, or further assistance. Coming around from the side here defensively is going to be Lucky, so looking for some ticks, just missing it in fact, but hopefully for the side of the Mustangs, they need one follow-up pick from their team here on the DPS. We'll be tuning into them momentarily after we see the pick off there. Bunkness able to find what they were looking for. Mercy, however, able to get that res off, very important, while you're seeing a fight come out in the room here. Neither side really giving space to one another as they're trying to hold the line, and that's going to be a burn down there from the soldier and pushing upon him. Rod comes out beautifully there, and Aku is caught out in the open, not where you want to be found. That's an unfortunate rotation for them there, as the Mustangs are going to have to be forced to back off once again. Both sides are going to be looking to build up their ults here, and it's going to be an even ult economy for either side. It's now going to be really about who is going to utilize their ults the best. Coming around the side here once again is the Hanzo. Going to get pushed upon quite fast, and it's actually going to be Stunty here with the first put. Hose Drinker has been able to get the nano with the follow-up here, and they're looking to make some magic. Bunkness able to find a pick off there, as Stunty also trades one back. Light Snow finds their pick on top of that. Bob has been thrown on out onto point, and really almost every ult has been utilized by the Beavers here. So for Stevenson, both sides are only working with one ult. However, it's going to be very useful for the soldier and ult going into this. It's going to be that overclock there that has 6 seconds to live, like a Genji Blade, and it has to be utilized perfectly here. You can't be picked off here, Legend, as you need to find your setup around the side here. Looking for a headshot, not finding it quite yet. They're just barely off, but they're looking to see if they can get that on it just a hair away. Taking a lot of damage, not able to be stopped from the Dragon. Now it's going to be the overclock taken into effect, but CJ shuts him on down with the assist of the Runic Chaos. That's going to be a double, triple, quadruple going in. Ana's the last one alive and making a run for their money. Trying to get out the best they can here. Can they escape in time? They're now being hunted down by the Echo, and the point turns to Stevenson. Having been awarded 2.5 minutes here, they're now going to be on an escort mission to get it to its final destination. So for the Beavers, their job is to halt the push. Make sure it does not get to the end goal. Try to stop it as far back as possible. Taking a look here from the front line here, we will be seeing Hose Drinker looking to apply some pressure. Rock coming on out, not going to be finding its value, but gets blocked right back. Both sides are not able to take enough space from one another. However, it's going to be Stevenson that has the advantage on pushing back the Beavers here. In fact, they may find themselves a pick, no less. That's going to be 2 from the DPS, despite Legend being traded back themselves. But look at this, Bunkness trying to go for a very aggressive push, not able to find the value they're looking for. And now it seems that the Beavers have to just run and hope to live here. Have to use the healers to protect one another and trying to make their escape. However, it's going to be Light Snow that needs the assistance here. Is actually choosing to die. Realizes their teams are around the corner. If they kept running, they could have made it. A very unfortunate position for them. We will be seeing the swap off the Ashe onto the Genji and off Ana and Break for Lucio Baptiste. They're going to be running fast and hard into this. Rock comes on out and it's looking really big, but the sleep is bigger. It's going to find amazing value there, despite the plays. We will be seeing that plays on point here is pressuring the Ana. The Genji has been copied here, but will it be enough? I'm not too sure about that, especially with the amount of pressure being applied here. It's going to be Stevenson that has to regroup with the last 60 seconds they have to work with. Stevenson will now be trying to get themselves into position here. Unfortunately for them, they lose one early, but they have a mercy on their side for the res, so they cannot afford to fall that easily once again. Now swapping over to the Junker Queen, excuse me. It's going to be Hose Drinker, and keep an eye out here for the Genji. Bunkiness, that rock comes out big, and they're trying to keep Bunkiness alive in order to use this blade going into this fight here. But it's going to be Bunkiness that falls. That is a crucial mistake coming on out there. The rock is big and strong with the sleep hitting its mark. It's now going to be a push for Stevenson to find its picks here. Now going to be capping this second point here. Will be awarded a minute 30. Still with time on the clock here, we're now going to be seeing if they can make it to the third point, or will they be halted just around the corner here. Stevenson has a lot of space made, and they've swapped off the Baptiste on the Kiriko. There's no window that was used. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but personally I find that was a mistake. Light Snow has fallen, as well as Hose Drinker. It's going to be the Flux coming on out, looking for the Lucio. They get it! And their push is not being halted whatsoever, as the Genji has to retreat. You're seeing that they are making great use of this time and putting on the pressure here. Gonna have to be seen. The ult's coming on out here. They're on the flank, but it's going to be hard to find that. Bunkiness coming out with the blade themselves. Able to get one, but finds a second indeed. Make it a third. Bailey wants more, and they get more at the end. 40 seconds remaining, but that's almost all. All the DPS ults have been activated there for the Beavers. The Mustangs, on the other hand, are going to have their DPS ults coming up here, so it's up to the Beavers to get this beat drop ready in response to keep on the defensive here. Sleep does find its mark here, and the Suzu Bell has been activated. Now going to be looking for some ticks here. It's going to be a push in with the Dragons as well. Rampage finds many. Bunkiness capitalizes on the ante, and they're going in for more. Champlain College was able to successfully stop the progression there, and now we're going to be switching sides.
Score 0-2. Switching sides.
Quick volume check if you all can
Initiating match.
let me know if I'm being too loud or not. I would appreciate it there in the chat. But in any case, what a matchup there. Things were looking very dire for the Mustangs. It came down to the wire there for them to capture both the first and second point with just roughly 10 seconds left in their time bank. So to be able to make such a push with so little time coming down to the wire is truly phenomenal. But take a look here. Interesting selections from both sides. We're going to be seeing a dive comp here today. First one I think I've actually seen in a long time here competitively in the NECC. So this will have to show if they can execute their composition properly, because dive needs teamwork and coordination. It's very crucial in order to work together in this team battle. As for the Mustangs here, they're playing poke, and they're going to try to keep their distance. The ones to keep an eye on the start will be over here on the Winston. Taking a look at the far flank here, an interesting rotation by them. It's going to be the Winston going in for the jump first, but misses the platform. That's going to prove problematic, but maybe not. It seems they were trying to work out abilities, and it is a bloodbath. They get everyone grouped up there from the Mustangs, and it's an immediate wipe. This is very dire for the Mustangs here, but beautiful for Champlain College. I mean, look at this. You, ladies and gentlemen, have 5 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. That is almost unheard of This is pro level time bank to work with. So they're going to be having a lot on their plate here. But taking a look at the flank here, Lucky Soap trying to find some advantage through the chaos. Trying to see who they can catch on out. But if they're not careful, they will be eliminated here. Especially by someone like Legend and Runic, who's playing it on the defensive. Having swapped over to the Cassidy, they're looking to see if they can apply some quick hand short draws with the revolver shots as well as the nade to cancel CC abilities such as pin or even reflect if they hit their mark. They're going in aggressively for the push here. CJ has been pinned out and separated. Coming in with the blade here over his bunk this and gets caught out thanks again to that nade as mentioned earlier. But it's not enough for Stevenson to celebrate here. They have been forced back into a very dangerous position for themselves. For the Mustangs here, they don't have the space they need despite finding that pick on the Genji. Instead, it's the Beavers who have all the room in the world to work with. Now Stevenson, not having their tank make it on back in time, has to prepare for this next push. Frigg barely alive and kicking. Before the trade comes on out, Reinhardt has been copied and is going in for the pin. Staying alive just to provide that extra shield here. Beautiful rock hits its mark. And it's going to be Stevenson finally making a stop to the push here that was beginning to snowball out of control. The Beavers now need to get back faster as Runic has fallen. Runic's close to their ult themselves as well as Reinhardt. They're looking to see what they can build up. And what's this coming around from the side here is going to be the gravitational flux. It finds its hits and it's going to be CJ playing aggressively into the bot line. Beat drop has been hit, and they're looking for a Shatter. Shatter's looking good. Shatter gets executed here. It finds one, but that's it. Thanks to the break ult, it keeps enough players alive to try to hope to keep the point, but it's not enough, and they're not able to get the space they're looking for. It's going to go over to the Beavers as they take the second. Now with 4.5 minutes here, Stevenson is in a very difficult position themselves. But we will be seeing another swap here. Now over to the Ramatra. You can definitely tell that the players are tense here for the Mustangs. They're trying to see what they can find. What the seed is the play here, but coming on out, we will be seeing a Blizzard has been activated. Immortality gets thrown on out, but it's not going to be enough to save them there. As Aku gets no, it does not get eliminated, but it's going to be everyone else that does beforehand. 4 minutes remaining, and the card is still progressing there. We're not seeing a stop here tonight, folks. Ram has to get back quickly here. Who's going to be making the touch? With 2 meters left, can Ram make it? No, sirree! They block him on off, and that's going over to Champlain College. Some great plays coming out here. Once again, Bunkness, the Null Trooper themselves, with the critical kills. They were able to find a great double kill there on both supports with the assistance of the rest of the team there to secure that final push. Oh my. We're now going to be heading over to Flashpoint. It's currently 2-0 in favor of Champlain College against Stevenson University. They are up, but it's not match point quite yet. As mentioned, it's going to be the first of 4. So given the little time we have here, we're going to turn it over to intermission and let you guys get some water, go to the bathroom, but don't go anywhere too far as we will be going into the next map fairly soon. So stick around. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Like I said, it was going to be a quick intermission there. We do have the sub in once again. Fluff is now back on in after having swapped out Tawny's tired. So we're now going to be on Flashpoint. Welcome everyone to Saravasa. On this map, it's similar to the King of the Hill that you all saw earlier, except here's the twist. There are 5 points all around the map, and each team needs to capture 3 of them in order to become victorious for this map. The points are scattered all about, but each time we will be starting, every single time we start this map, on the center here. A little bit of changes here. It seems that there is a bit of a mistake here in the coding for Flashpoint, which is not unusual. We have had this issue before where, due to the way the code works, it actually does not properly, how would I say, adapt as it should. So often what has to happen is that they need to, I believe, change it over to competitive instead of the code in order to have it work properly. Neither side was able to see what they were running either going into this. So what they need to do is, once they get it fixed, they need to go right back on in. At least they check any sort of streams or anything. I'm just saying. But yeah, it's going to be a very tough fight here, I think, for the Mustangs going into this fight. Here we go on in. And my only reasoning behind that statement, understand why I say it, is that Stevenson is struggling against the coordination that we are seeing beautifully being put on display here. Do we have a disconnect by chance? This pause was activated without anyone actually really doesn't like Flash. One moment, folks. Let me take care of this. Yeah, I believe they were still trying to enforce the custom code in order to see if they could work it with the NECC, but as stated by the NECC, despite their attempts with Flashpoint being so new, they actually have to change it over to regular competitive in order for it to work properly. Now, that isn't to say that you can't disable skins. You can still disable skins with this in the settings. It's all down to who knows how to work the settings, usually. So they're going to try to get it all fixed up. It's some people know, other people don't. It's a total thing, you know. So we're going to have just another map restart here to try to finally get things fixed. But they will have to go back to lobby as they're on New Chunk City. That is not the intended map, especially with Malgua. Malgua is the newest tank, as I saw a little hint of it, and that tank is disabled for conf, so therefore it is not available for use during these finals. So we'll have to be seeing a change here momentarily. Yep, they're about to do it once again. Taking it back to the lobby here. It seems that they have everything now done as needed, and we're going to be going right back on into it, I believe. Oh boy. They're having a fun talk about Flashpoint in chat. Sorry, I can't show you. Nonetheless, just waiting to go right back on in here. As saying before, I was saying that Champlain College has a very coordinated and pretty much well-rounded team, I would describe as. In fact, I did a little looking, and to give you guys some knowledge, this team has developed significantly well, looking at how they've performed in their past seasons. Stevenson also has had growth themselves, but not at the rate that we see the Beavers had, taking a look at just their history of competitive play. So truly kudos to them. Seems that there's... Yeah, it's going to be a while, so let me just turn it back over to intermission, and it will take... nope, it seems they have the code right now. So, just waiting for them to enforce it here. Oh, this... I'm not gonna lie, this is very scuffed. I do not edit any of this. This is a solo stream, so I don't have all the bells and whistles as other broadcasting teams do. I'm just merely a volunteer that's trying to keep you all entertained. It seems that they now have the new code applied. Everything is in place, and we should be heading on in. Hopefully it works out this time. Let's turn it on over to Saravasa. Welcome everyone to the ruins. This is one of the 5 mentioned points on the map here. As said, it does start in the market, and then you can make your way all over. No, it's a good sign. Oh, they are having a time in chat there. So, hopefully everything is underway. However, we do see broadcast not ready, so we may be experiencing another pause.
Ready for battle.
May or may not. If it doesn't pause, so be it. I mean, at this point, we just gotta play it on out now, don't we? Let's take a look for... Nope. And there it is again. See, this is the behind the scenes stuff that you all get to enjoy. One way or another. Yes, everyone is now back in position here. Ooh, doggy. Alrighty then. Everyone is ready to go. Without further ado, take a look at your teams here. Neither side has swapped. So once again, Champlain College on Team Blue and Stevenson University on Team Red. Let's get it underway here as the doors open for either side. Looking for a charge from either side here. We're going to be seeing the Junker Queens are going to be the ones to duke it on out. Will they meet face to face, or will they go at angles? It seems they will in fact meet each other to start, but they must be careful here because once again, it's a break from the side, but unknowing to them, initially, they do have to deal with a Reaper here, and coming around the side, we will be seeing the pick from Bunkness, able to get the Moira, but it's not going to be enough as they get traded back twofold by the Mustangs here. The point's now going to start its turn over to the Mustangs here. In fact, that's going to be a pickoff by Stevenson there, finding the Genji very early on and sniping the Lucio from afar. Point turns over to the Mustangs here, and make note, ladies and gentlemen, what's very crucial about this type of game style is that it not only is a King of the Hill, but it's a hastened King of the Hill, which means that it's already at 20%. Little did you know, in a span of potential 3 fights, it could immediately be won over by one side or the other. So it's really crucial to have this point for as long as possible. Going on in aggressively is going to be Hose Drinker. They're able to get an axe slash, but it's not finding the picks they're looking for as Light Snow has fallen. Now being met themselves by CJ, who finds a double kill and is looking for more. They're on the hunt here and trying to get some eliminations here. Fluff is not able to stay alive themselves, and they have to just die and regroup immediately here. It's at 70%. There's only one chance to touch here, and it's going to have to come out from Bunkness. Maybe Fluff can respawn in time to help speed around the corners, but it's not likely here. Taking a look at mentioned Fluff. Fluff is on their way back, but they have to pick up the Junker Queen, leaving the DPS and Light Snow to make their push, but it's nowhere near in time as it's already been captured by the Mustangs, and the next point has been activated here. Now that the point has been activated, they have to make their rotation on over to it. It looks like we're going to be heading on over to the Palace, ladies and gents. And it's going to be Stevenson who gets there first. Given an initial 30 seconds for both sides to have an equal opportunity to regroup before it unlocks, it's going to be seen here that Stevenson has the opportunity to hold it down. We do see that the blade is ready and available, and coming around from the flank here is going to be everything else. Look at all these ults being activated. Beats from either side. Rampage also activated, and we're looking to see the freeze. It's going to hit the Mei, but no one notices them. CJ able to find that initial kill, scaring off the Lucio here, and Stevenson trying to just regroup themselves, get in a position to recover, but it's not looking good. They spread out their forces too thin here, and with such spread numbers, what's this? It's going to be the Death Blossom, but that is not enough. Despite a really last-ditch effort to try to get this point, it goes over to the Beavers. They're going to be able to capture it there, and that was very crucial thanks to the group callouts being made by them. Going to have to be seeing what their strategy is going into this. More than likely, it's going to be just a dry blade with actually the assistance of the Kitsune Rush to swing faster into the Mustangs here. Let's take a look at this progression. Going to be looking for a pick. Slashes coming out from either side. Not going to be finding anything really concrete. Kitsune has been activated. Looking now for the blade. Blade is going in for the swings, but is immediately shut on down by Legend there. Legend able to apply such a heavy amount of damage. The Reaper there really looking for the picks, but it's now turning tides here as enough has been done for the Beavers to now just follow up and apply more pressure onto the Mustangs, making sure they get staggered on out and cannot contest with full force. They're doing a great job on rotating their ult economy here. I mean, take a look at this. You got 3 ults now ready after only using 2 ults in that previous fight. Well, Stevenson only has 1 immediately available, and there's not likely a chance for them to make a touch. So now I'm going to be looking for this next point to go to. It's going to be over in the ruins where we first spawned in with the camera. Both sides are going to be meeting each other very far away. We may be seeing through stairwell and on the bottom side of the point. Taking a look on in here, the Blizzard has been activated and it's catching out many. Runic has fallen as well as CJ. Now applying pressure upon Stunty, who cannot escape themselves. They do take down Hose Drinker, but not after everyone else has been eliminated. That's going to allow for a free capture of the point to Champlain College, while Stevenson needs to plan their next attack here going on in. No swaps from either side. They're going to be sticking to their guns. It's all going to be about tempo and crucial pickoffs here. I mean, take a look at Lock E. So they're caught out very early on. They could get this Lucio. That Suzu Bell saves them despite it all. But so Stevenson needs to go right on in with the Rampage has been activated here. It's going to be a beat draw from either side here. Now going to be looking to see if they can get the elimination. Who's going to find the first pick needed here? It's going to be the Beavers as they apply more damage. Coalescence has been activated, but this is a very losing fight here. They may have to activate the Death Blossom just to win it, but I'm not sure if the Reflect has been activated. It has not, so it could apply that damage right back over to the Reaper here with just 25 seconds less even. It's Stevenson who has to try to take a different angle here. They only have Death Blossom to work with. It is not a good situation for them. Death Blossom has been activated here. It's applying a great deal of damage, and they get rid of the tank. And it's going to be Stevenson now on point. The Blade and Kitsune Rush was activated way out in the open. So unless Stevenson can get some more picks here, they're going to actually lose this point. They're able to get the Mei, and they're looking for the supports. It's looking actually pretty good for them. If they're lucky, their Warrior will stay alive long enough to get the picks they need. Time to get that reload going on in there. Looking at Bunkness. Bunkness finds the one, but it's not going to be quick enough here, as Bunkness needs to retreat quickly and efficiently. Stevenson still finding their way on point here, trying to see some openings, if any. Lucio's the main target here. Fluff has the beat drop and is taken on down. Light Snow is able to make it back in time. Is it going to be going in their favor? I'm not sure. Sunti was able to get a beautiful headshot there, and they're able to take him on down. Genji's the last one to make it, and that point goes to the Beavers. So now Stevenson has to prepare to hold it all. We're heading on over to the garden, ladies and gents, so Stevenson will make it over there first. by numbers, theoretically. However, it could go over the Champlain College here to get there before all of Stevenson is grouped up and in position. In fact, Stevenson's actually poking back a bit. They're trying to see if they can catch someone out, and Moira's the one that's in danger. May ult's been activated here as Rampage is too. They're able to get Runic as well as Aku. That's both supports there for the Mustangs, finding the tank as well. It is a massacre. The point has turned over to the Beavers here, and Stevenson cannot afford to lose it. So taking a look here, there is no Kitsune Rush to work with. However, they still have Blade and Beat Drop. Stevenson only has support ults and Rampage, so it's a good opportunity for them. However, it's going to be Legend who falls here. Looking on into this room, Rampage has been activated, and the Beat Drop with it. They're able to get bumped this, and they're just pouring everything they got into it to try to push past them. Stevenson finds the picks, but they need more. They can't allow these staggers to stay alive here. Take a look at Runic, who gets caught on out by Hose Drinker and the rest of the Beavers here. They do take down Light Snow as well as Hose Drinker. Fluff is the last one alive, and looking to stall. They're doing a grand job of it, in fact, as it turns over at 74%. Stevenson only has Blade if they can get it, because that's going to have to be a Blade versus Blade rush. With that haste ability there, it's not good for the Mustangs going on into this. The Beavers are ready to activate it and push hard and aggressive here. They get in position, however, they already lose Soap. Lucky Soap has fallen, and Lucio is possibly next. The Blade has been activated, and they're looking for some picks here. Genji finds one and Light Snow with the other. They're now just finishing up with the rest. Bumpness just barely alive. Point turns over here, and the Mustangs have one last chance to touch. They cannot get walled off, however, and they need to move fast. The time is ticking, roughly 10 seconds and less than counting. It's going to be the Rampage and Lucio going for it. Runic trying as he might. Can he make it? No! Just at the near end, they get eliminated before they can get their foot in the door, and it's going to be the Beavers taking map number 3. The game here coming out from Light Snow, really setting up this tempo beautifully, keeping the team alive, saving from surefire kills, and enabling their team to get the point. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now into match point. The Beavers are up 3-0 against Stevenson. It's looking very bad for the Mustangs. We are now headed over to push. For those of you that don't know what push is, it is when you have 2 barricades on either side and you have to escort the barricade pusher. I like to call him Matt, the bot, or Omnic, I should say. He's going to be pushing the barricades to checkpoints, and whoever gets their barricade the furthest will win. If one side gets it to the very end, they automatically win. Otherwise, it's based on who gets the furthest distance. So there's many choices to choose from, but they're very limited at that. Their map choices here is going to be Coliseum, New Queen Street, and there's one other one that I am forgetting, Esperanza. That's the one. Those are the main push maps you will see played. So with the ban choice for Champlain College, it's a question of what are they going to limit Stevenson with? What are they going to make sure that they're banning New Queen Street? So that's Toronto, Canada, the snow map. That will not be playable. So Stevenson now has 2 choices, Coliseum or Esperanza. It's going to be a difficult one going into this for certain, as Stevenson cannot afford to drop a map going into these fights. We'll have to see what they're going to try to use here. We've been seeing a lot of Brawl. We've been seeing the Junker Queen as well as Poke with the Sigma. That poke really got eliminated fast on the Bonnie with that dive as they grouped up very heavily despite what looked like an initial failed dive. And now we are substituting in Runic for Y2K. So Runic's going to be coming on out. Question is Y2K going to be on support or tank here? To start, it seems that they are going to be on support. So having taken out your Lucio for potential other play that I will not name yet, we'll have to see if that's the strategy going into this. If they need to just try to play with different play styles, see what's really stopping them here. I would say what's really hurting them is that the support line of Champlain College is so strong. They just don't die until almost the very end, whether it be Fluff or Kiriko. And either one sometimes will fall in between when the point turns over to the Mustangs, but it is something that has been standing out against the Mustangs that has been making them struggle. So if they can try to eliminate the supports while also staying alive against Bunkness, they have a really good opportunity on making a comeback here. That would be my strategy going into this for the Mustangs here, as what they got to do. As for Bunkness, or not Bunkness, excuse me, for Champlain College, the Beavers here, they need to make sure that if that starts to happen, they adjust. They either play a different style where they're more farther apart, making it harder to get picked off, or playing more around barriers, if that's the case. Otherwise, by all means, go full aggressive on it. We do have some believers in the chat here, and by all means, believe, because for whoever you're rooting for, you need to make sure you put in as much faith as possible and support your team to the fullest. Heading on over to Italy. Welcome to Colosseum. Here in the heart of Rome, here we are now going to be fighting just outside the Gladiatoria Arena. Now repurposed here for Omnic Gladiatoria matches to bring forth history as well as entertainment to the local masses and tourists around the world. You'll be seeing from Lapis Maximus all the way over to Galleria Imperialis. Both sides will be spawning in either side. And this is a significant turning point. This map itself, being the very first push map ever introduced into Overwatch 2, can be the turning point for either team. It shows and represents victory as well as chaos in this close combat fight that we are about to experience here tonight. So we'll have to see, will these teams be prepared for one another? Or will they be caught off guard? As we're going to be seeing brawl v brawl going into this, both sides sticking to their guns and running with the money. The doors are open and they are making their way. Let's tune in over to Stevenson here first as they make their path over. They will be slower compared to the Beavers here, who have the Lucio to work with. Taking a look here, thanks to Fluff and Light Snow to help support it. You got to keep an eye out for the May here against now Y2K, as they have been walled off, but they're not exactly in too much danger. In fact, Stevenson is persevering. They are standing strong, and they're trying to apply some room. Both immortalities have been taken out here as Stevenson's looking for a pick on the flank. They're not finding it. However, Reinhardt has fallen. Bunkness is in the backline and trying to get some eliminations here. Stunty gets saved by Y2K. Bunkness needs to be careful as they could have been eliminated there. We do see CJ is caught out, but Fluff is in the backline finding both of Stevenson's. They're now going for a taxi pickup here. If Stevenson can regroup and get some picks here in time, they can actually capitalize on the taxi here. But it seems that the Beavers have made it back in time here, and we're looking at pressure from either side going into this fight. The wall comes on out, and Ryan going for the pin, but they're not able to find it as they hoped for. The pull comes on out, and the freeze as well. Stevenson is now in a very difficult spot as they're getting pushed back to spawn here. Legend on the flank here, trying to get some picks, but it's not going to be enough. As taking a look at the barricade here, it hasn't met its checkpoint yet, but very soon will. So this is going to be a very quick checkpoint reach for the side of the Beavers. Stevenson has to be careful. The window has immediately been activated and Reinhardt gets caught out. Thanks to that checkpoint capture, however, they will be spawning back quick, but Legend does not get the quick spawn themselves as they are forced on back. This is a very dominant push up front, and it's going to be even fiercer coming on out. Bugnus is in the back line, found CJ just as they walked out of spawn. Points now making its turn around the corner up to the high ground here. Both sides are working with Shatter. They just have to find it best. Down around the side here, we will be seeing Bugnus use the blade, but it's not going to be enough as Shatter is met. I stand corrected. It is plenty enough. They're able to get that double kill in the back line as well as a triple with Lucky Soap taking out the front line. That is Reinhardt. Stevenson is really having a rough time here. They're going to have to capitalize on ults going into this, and be careful as the Shatter is going to be coming around the side here. Reinhardt needs to make the touch. They do so, but barely at that. Stevenson trying very hard to get into position here. It's not looking good. Freeze comes on out, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if Stevenson has a chance to touch yet again. That's going to be it. Champlain College takes the tail. And with that, that is going to be the finals here tonight. Going over to Champlain College, they take the championship in the fall 2023 season. With a resounding end to the matches here tonight. I thank you everyone for coming out to watch, supporting your team, and trying to keep in believing. We will be coming back in the spring here, but we'll have to see on scheduling. So after this, be sure to tune in towards a casual stream for some Overwatch. In any case, thank you everyone, and good night.